with the sixth perfection. The sixth perfection obviously is outside the 37 factors of enlightenment, and it's a practice by itself, which is the Bodhisattva path. So if we do not understand this principle, of the sixth perfection, it's futile to engage in Maya practices. So if you go back to the journey of learning, if we know, we understand, then we need to graduate towards realizing, then only practicing. So in practice, you cannot be engaged in Maya practice unless you understand and realize, and that's what it says. So we walk on this path and realize the truth is to be full. Okay, so understand, you can realize the truth is to be full. So only when it's full, that means you fully understand. So realization must come. Then to perfect true wisdom and transform others is to be overflowing. So you got to be full in your realization. So it resonates with what I've been trying to share with you all, that you know the Dharma, understand the principle, realize the truth. Then on to the practice, then you'll only be overflowing. So that's Master's explanation. The six perfections and relative wisdom are the foundation of spiritual practice. Some which I explained, we first need to understand, and then you graduate and go into realization. So realization had to come from contemplation. So when you practice the sixth perfection, you must practice with the contemplative mind. And a contemplative mind can come to you when you also practice in mindfulness, when you cultivate outside in and awareness inside out. So there's internal cultivation and the external cultivation. Then, so these six perfections, in essence, are the six methods in the practice, which is the six parameters. So this requires relative wisdom. We must observe what sentient beings need and how much they need in order to alleviate their suffering. So this relative wisdom is the wisdom of being able to discern about the different minds and the capabilities of the people, as just as the Buddha did, and apply the relative wisdom to assess the capabilities. That's why, although at the end of the day, there's only one Dharma, which is the great white ox pulling the cart, but it has to go through Four Noble Truths, 12 links of causation, and the sixth perfection, and apply to the relative wisdom. So in very much the same way as when we practice, we've got to practice and understand, although we understand, one may understand fully when you realize the full truth of the Dharma, but then when you share that and apply that to others, we need to be able to do so in a manner that, one, that we have transformed ourselves, two, that we understand the minds of others. If we don't understand this principle, it is futile to engage in Maya practices. Then we'll be going out in circles. For example, imagine if one were to go down and talk about Dharma when one is not even ready. He would probably be thinking that you're talking in Greek to the person. And this is what the mind is. So the mind must be open. So sometimes when we get engaged in their own enthusiasm, and this is especially so for us, we are householders. So as householders, when someone meets a master who is in the Sangha community, and one who is wearing the robe, one has great respect for the teacher. But for us as a householder, we need to be even more mindful of that, because we are not so-called the recognized teachers, although one may know a lot. So we need to be mindful of that before, when one can only be convinced that you know, and otherwise one will face a lot of challenges. So to perfect the true wisdom and transform others is to be overflowing, and that's what Master means. When we perfect true wisdom, then we have a solid understanding of the Dharma. And this solid understanding of Dharma is true, the realization of the truth. Then it's no longer illusory, but it is real, it is true. Then naturally we'll perfectly cultivate the blessing and wisdom. So therefore, one have to awaken ourselves. Awakening ourselves is we need to transform ourselves first. So we cannot. How can then awaken others when we are not even awaken ourselves? So even in so doing, when we have awakened ourselves and we awaken others, that is overflowing. That's what Master is trying to say today. So very quickly, what are the lessons learned? So Dharma is not inherently great or small, right? Which I just explained at the beginning, that it is this one Dharma, but because of the discerning mind of the Buddha and what the relative wisdom is, so it has to distinguish with the relative wisdom, you have to distinguish the capabilities of the people. So these distinguishing factors is very important to understand that one should not have a discriminative mind or differentiation and so on. But we live in a world of duality. So we also need to understand that you cannot run away from this, the way the world is. And so we need to recognize the duality, but with wisdom. And this is what relative wisdom is about. So if we do not understand the Four Truths, the 12 links of cyclic existence, we cannot actualize the myriad actions of the six perfections. So we, even despite that, yes, we're walking on Bodhisattva path. Yes, we practice the 6 parameters. We also need to understand the Four Noble Truths and the 12 links of causation, because that's the basic part of the Dharma. So we who learn the Dharma must put into practice, and this is what it is. So after learning the Dharma, having been learning means you understood the Dharma, you know the Dharma, you understood the Dharma, you realize the Dharma, and you put into practice, and then the minds can be full and overflowing. So when we do so, when we practice with the 6 parameters, we do so to purify the impurities in our consciousness. So this purify the impurities in consciousness is, you see, we live our life. So we have this lifespan that we have. So what is it that this lifespan that will teach us? This lifespan will teach us the unfoldment of our past causes. So our past causes will unfold, and a lot of them are unpleasant. So, and that is unpleasant because we're not an enlightened being. So these karmic seeds will fall on us. So we need to accept them. We need to learn from those. We need to learn from the karmic lesson, repay our karmic debts, and fulfill our karmic responsibility. Then gradually, as we do so with the process of purification over many, many lifetimes, then we reach the Buddha nature. So by exercising our wisdom and awakened nature, we can guide sentient beings. So therefore transform ourselves, then we can guide others. So in contemplation, and this contemplation is very much about going amongst the masses and the transformation. When you have gained a higher consciousness to transform your character, so therefore we need to transform ourselves first. What is it that we are transforming? And start by transforming our character. Then you are well in control of your faculties. So what is the faculties of control? Are the 6 roots, your 6 dust, and your 6 consciousness. These are the 16 realms that Master spoke about yesterday. So only then you can serve with a knowing mind and go on to be overflowing to transform others. So on relationship, one cannot transform by changing one's reflection in the mirror or clearing the dust on the mirror. Okay, with that note, Gan, brothers and sisters, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much to Brother Chin for another marvelous sharing. Yeah, I think we take a group photo before Brother Chin and the team eat first. I don't see Sister Kaping this morning. Yeah, probably she left earlier to book the car park spot for you. Yeah.
So,
Brother Chin. Morning.
I need to go. I need to go already. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone, please on your video so that we can catch a full group photo of all of us before Brother Chin and Sister Siu Ping leave us. Yeah. Okay. Done.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Bye bye. Okay. Next, can we have Sister Sui San to share with us? Sister Sui San, morning. Amitofo.
Amitofo, brothers and sisters. Gan En to Brother Chin and all the brothers and sisters sharing today. Today, what touches me the most is on the relative wisdom, you know, that using different methods on people with different capability. Like for my case is that I'm nurturing a group of Indian volunteers. So of course, they have different capabilities from the Chinese. So also language. So have to use a lot of methods, various methods to let them walk the path. So I'm glad that I do not know where I get my strength and vitality to do it for the past how many years? I can't remember. Past 13 years to walk together with them. When I see them grow and able to take instructions and you know the willingness to do, it glads my heart. Like Master say is that the Dharma has to be in your heart. Only then you can actually transform others. Like transform others is also not overnight. It has to be step by steps, step by steps. So I'm pretty very fortunate that I'm being exposed to so many others missions. So now that like yesterday I did a sharing on K1K. It's on this Malay recipient. He, when I interacted with him, I always like say I always listen to their concerns and so on. So if I could, I will always find a ways that how I can further help this person. So I always like if because he's a cook, so I said, oh, then can you help to do me catering to help but I need it to be vegetarian. So he agrees. He agrees. So I will start off with what in your dishes, what are the one that are vegetarian? So he started off with the lontong sayur. So I order by 30 boxes. So one day he actually wrote to me, you know, he said he wrote to me and say he called me Sister Chong, he called me Miss Chong. I really want to promote vegetarian diet to my Malay community, you know. I would like to introduce another of my friend who's also selling vegetarian food to you, can or not? I say, yeah, can, why not? So it's really, then I also invited him, can you join us? I mean, the time, no CMCO yet, just like, can I invite you to come to our Tzu Chi kitchen and cook, teach us how to cook Malay food, Malay style, by using vegetarian way so so actually he agrees. So since he got this to do it, so I also try to plan how we can engage him further to promote vegetarian among the Malays. So I'm very grateful that we got constant listening to Dharma, but I do not know when I can get to use it. But I hope that with this relative wisdom that I gather, that I can transform more people. Only that.
Yeah, amazing. Got so much, Susan. Wonderful work. All this group of our Indian volunteers, our Hualien Team of Malaysia. Susan have done a fantastic job. Yeah. Okay, next, can we have Brother Tzu Wei to share with us? Brother Tzu Wei, morning.
Gan En, Brother Robert. Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, morning.
Today is talking about wisdom. I feel that applying what we learn into practice itself takes wisdom. I go back to the 2 days, the weekend, the classes in Taiwan before the Shoucheng. Shifu talk about the precepts. The precepts are in the 6 parameters. Actually, a lot of learning from what Shifu shares about precepts. because it's so wide. It's not just following this on the words, what we understand on the words only. Not drinking might be the easier one, but the stealing can be very wide, and then not telling lies is also very, very wide. We talk about white lies, but the application of it actually take a lot of mindfulness. It has to be truly benefit for others in order to do so. Sometimes if we are not careful, it may not be that. It might be for convenience, for avoiding the immediate conflict. So for me, I just feel that these are all related. We are talking about the 6 parameters, and Master said today also that the dharmas needs to come into the heart, and then 法入心，行要如法, and the practicing needs to follow what we learn in the dharma. It is like from moment to moment, I just feel that these precepts, practicing the precepts, how I benefit from this Shifu teaching on the weekend, is that it's almost like every moment is moment to moment, all the precepts actually need to be applied. This is just my little thought today. Gan En.
And then thank you so much. Brother Tzu, very wonderful sharing. Okay, next, can we have Sister Lacey to share a few words? Morning and welcome back, Sister Lacey. Sister Lacey, morning.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I really admire this Sister Suisan, really full and overflowing Dharma model.
Yes, truly, truly our role model,
Master was saying that we must have full vitality in order to walk the path and then to give other people strength. Master was saying that it's like a car, we must have full tire, then only we can walk smoothly the path. So I think we just have to come onto this platform every day to gain that vitality.
Pump air, our tire need to refill air. This Dharma air that we have this platform is full of vitality. Okay, guidance so much, Stacey. Okay, next, can we have Sister YY to share with us?
Good morning, Brother Robert, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for the great sharing. Today, what I could gather is that Master emphasized a lot on practice. So as Brother Tzu has mentioned, Fa Lu Xing and Xing Ru Fa. So is putting the teachings actually in action. So of course, yesterday we heard spiritual practice is actually the cause. So we have to create more causes so that hopefully the good yuan will follow. So when talking about this practice, I always noted Master will of all the teaching, you will actually connect to these the 6 parameters. And today is added with the relative wisdom. So of course, before engaging in practice, Master mentioned, we must fully understand the principle so that we can actually practice, walk the path. Then we'll be solidly, walking on the path. Like Sister Lacey mentioned, by understanding this principle, it's like, wow, the tire is full, we will be full, then we can actually walk smoothly. So for among the 3 spiritual practice tools, right, my limited understanding, 4 noble truth is that recognizing the suffering, but the positive point is that we can do something to actually eliminate this suffering. Is walking the path. And coming to the 12 links of cyclic existence, the beginning of all these links is actually Master mentioned the single thought, the single ignorant taught. So yeah, if we can break this ignorance, it's like we can actually all the dependent origination, those bad so-called causes and conditions, we can actually there's a possibility to break it. And when it comes to 6 parameters of among the 6 methods, I personally feel that the first one, giving, is the easiest for me. Of course, the other 5 is more like working on ourselves. Yeah, of course, it has to complement the part of giving, but without, let's say, accomplishing the other 5, giving, we can actually, I feel that personally I can do it more easily, and that is the method that would actually spread out actually to all, to the masses, because giving out definitely is to others, whereas the 5 is more working internally on ourselves. So here, the essence for practice, what I gathered today, Master mentioned, 学在平时啊，是用在即时 is the timeliness is very important. That is to be responsive on a timely manner to sentient beings' needs to resolve their difficulties. And when doing this, we have to apply the relative wisdom, like Sister Suisan mentioned. Well, if the recipient, the care recipient, is in starvation, we cannot be providing them with gold bars. We have to provide them with food. This is an example I can think of for this particular this learning point. And many the local volunteers, whenever disaster happens, they need more pairs of hands. They always use this program, apply this program, cash for so-called reward, cash for work program, 義工帶贈. So this is also a very, very practical so-called way as applying the relative wisdom according to the time, location, and the needs. And of course, when we are full, realizing all the principle, Master's mention is also not enough. We have to be in a state of being overflowing. That's to transform others. So this is the area, yeah, personally for me to really have to work on. Yeah, and when applying this relative wisdom, of course, we are not as reaching the Buddha state. It's actually the ocean. There's a great ocean of enlightened wisdom. The wealth of Dharma is so abundant. That's why Buddha can actually apply, the different skill to suit the sentient beings' capability. But even though we are not thinking, whenever there's a situation, think of Buddha. That's as a role model for as a guiding principle. Okay, that's my sharing today, Gan En.
Thank you so much, Sister Wai Bai, for your wonderful sharing. Yeah. Next, can we have Sister Riani, who's always full of overflowing of compassion? Sister Riani, morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm so admire of Sister Suisan also. So aligned my thought with Sister Lei Sim about the tire things. Okay, I would like to relate to this week. I already start and finish my phone assessment for the refugee cases. 10 of my case, 5 of it is need translator. Normally, I will ask my regular interpreter to help me to do the interview. But this time, because I saw it's quite a lot of cases that need an interpreter, instead I asked my POC to help me to do the translation. Actually, why I use my own POC to help me to do the translation, because I also want them to know they are not the only one who suffer, but outside there are other who are more suffering than them. So by doing this, first I also I get benefited because they help me to do the translation. And the second one, the my POC also realize, oh yeah, actually my case is not as severe as another cases. So I think this is also one of the 方便法 to help them to realize they also are capable to help others, and so they not only focus on their suffering, they also know that other I mean a lot of their fellow countrymen also very in need of help. That's my sharing, Gan En.
Yeah, thanks, Riani, for your sharing. Okay, next, can we have one Sister Ng Vin Sin to join us? Welcome, Sister Ng Vin Sin. Join us first time this morning.
Sorry, good morning.
Morning, Sister Ng.
Yeah, I use my granddaughter.
Oh, I see. Okay, Sister
So
Boy.
sorry. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
okay. Yes, Sister Boy. Yeah, maybe a few words from you from today's master sharing.
Today's master sharing. There's so much to see here because today I understand that she's asking us to like recruit more people so that it's more powerful. We can do more things with more people. We have like for example in the Philippines, if we don't have that many people, it's not easy to clear the disasters, you see, especially with all the things destroyed.
Yes.
So their brother is very, very wise, who has a lot of wisdom, is able to do so many things, and I really appreciated that. You see, actually that brother was in Taiwan, but then during that time, and then he also very kind. He rushed back to help, you see, and then he has so many things to do, but at that very moment he can do so many things, and I really very say he has really good dharma with him. Thank you.
Yeah, Gan En, Sister Boy, our diligent Sister Boy, who is always with us every morning. Yeah. Okay, next, can we have maybe Brother Chris Chiu to say a few words? Brother Chris, good morning.